Hey everyone, this is Mark Price at DevSlopes.com, and in this video I'm just going to talk about some of the things you're going to be learning in this course. And we currently have about 88 hours of content, so it's a lot, and this course is actually designed to take you from absolute beginner to some really advanced levels, and so you're going to want to pace yourself, and it's designed that you can make huge progress even before you reach the end. So it's great news all the way around. So I want to cover some of the concepts that you're going to be starting with and move along towards the end here. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to start by getting started with iOS, how to install Xcode, and working with different versions of Swift, and working with normal Xcode and beta Xcode. And then we have Intro to Programming and the Swift 4 Basics, and this is basically the absolute beginner section for programming and for Swift. So if you've never programmed before, this is the place to start. And we're also going to cover Swift here. And if you learn with another programming language, this will go really quick for you. But if not, we're going to cover even some of the core concepts of programming. We talk about some other important things like Git and version control, how to work with your files. And then we jump right into app development. And so the next few sections here are all about working with Interface Builder and how to build reusable interfaces and adaptable user interfaces, really the core principles of iOS development. And then you move on to more complex topics such as showing data inside of tables. Any common app you've used has some type of table in most cases that you're feeding from some type of data source. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some important design principles like model view controller. That's a design paradigm for mobile app development. Very important to know. And as you go through here, the apps will progress in difficulty. You'll learn different types of algorithms. And when I say algorithms, that means writing code that solves problems versus just dragging user interface elements on the screen. You'll actually write code that can make decisions. And you're going to work with some of the features of iOS, accelerometer, some of the other frameworks that are available to you, like UI split view controller. And then one of the most important pieces of this course is the Slack app right here. This is where you're going to build a full-scale application, the type of application you're going to build on a job. And so the Slack app, or the Slack clone that you're going to be building, basically allows you to connect to an API, download data, you can post data to the API, you can fetch it, a whole bunch of things in there. And when you finish that app, if you really truly understand everything inside of that section with networking and APIs, you're really getting close to being able to start applying for jobs, or at least take on contract work or some things like that. And as you go along, you're going to learn more programming principles and more best practice for iOS, and you're going to build more full stack applications like Pixel City app, where you're going to work with maps and Instagram APIs. And then you're going to learn how to work with data persistence. That's how to actually store data on the phone and make it really fast to fetch it and to update it when it needs to be updated. And you're going to learn two different things for that. One with core data, which is built into iOS, and it's fairly complex, and so we cover all the details of that. And the other option here is Realm. And Realm is a third-party database, but used by millions and or thousands of developers, millions of users. And so we're going to teach you both, so you can see your options there. You're going to build a full-stack application with Firebase, and Firebase is a back-end suite of tools and databases, so you don't have to go code your own back-end server. They have it all ready to go out of the box. And more recently, they launched a new product called Cloud Firestore, and we're also going to teach you that. And that's brand new stuff, hot off the press, and we're going to cover that in depth. You're going to learn in-app purchases, but not just in-app purchases. You're going to learn how to do subscriptions, how to restore in-app purchases, consumables, non-consumables, the whole kit and caboodle here. You're going to learn everything you really need to know about in-app purchases. You're going to learn about Touch ID, Face ID, and then we're talking about just iOS features at this point. Speech recognition, sticker packs, 3D touch, that's when you touch on icons and you can see shortcuts, or you can actually touch in the app with the 3D touch and show context menus. That's Siri Kit, where you can use Siri to interact with your application. Replay Kit to show videos for games. You can also use them in iOS as well too. AR Kit using augmented reality. Machine learning we're going to cover. We're going to cover some of the brand new iOS 12 models for machine learning. And you're going to learn an entire section about mobile product design, how to actually design apps that people want to use, what users care about. And this is a course in and of itself almost. And so you're going to learn how to actually design mobile apps as well. And then once you've gotten all that, you've really learned a lot about iOS development, and I mean a lot. You're building full stack applications, thousands of lines of code. You could, at this point, probably start applying for junior iPhone developer jobs, publishing your own apps to the App Store, whatever you want. But one thing that we've added to this course that we have never done before is we've added an advanced section. And we got a lot of requests for this. And what this is going to do is when you've mastered all of these apps and you're getting really good, we're going to take you to whole new levels. And so we introduced starting with some computer science portions. And the reason why this is in the advanced section is because we want you to build the apps first. And computer science principles can be complex, and it can be a lot to learn. So when you get to the end here, then you're going to go do some of these computer science sections, working with binary, hexadecimal, things like that. And then we're going to talk about advanced Swift. And when we talk about advanced Swift, I mean the type of Swift that you would write on a job, not just here's what a protocol is, but how do you actually use it, when should you use it, extensions, things like that. We're going to cover some of the data structures in algorithms in Swift, just a few common ones. And then you're going to learn an entire new programming paradigm called protocol-oriented programming. And this is what Apple has been advocating the last few years. A lot of companies are pushing towards this, as well as other developers, and it's time to actually just sit down and learn it. How do you actually write protocols throughout all of your code, maybe versus using classes and things like that. And so very advanced topic here. We cover RX Swift, or rather reactive programming. This is kind of like React or Angular, where you have observables and you can do these things in Swift, and a lot of companies and projects are moving to this too. So we cover this whole new design paradigm. And so reactive programming is one design paradigm, protocol-oriented programming is another design paradigm, and then we go deep into unit testing and into UI testing. And of course, every single job you'll probably ever work at is going to require testing of some kind. It's just a standard part of the process here. So you're going to learn all that. We added a lot of content here. And so before you get to the advanced sections, definitely do all of the apps in between. Again, it is 88 hours of content. It's going to take you quite some time. But I would say at about 20 to 30 hours, you're really starting to make amazing progress in iOS development. And you can also jump around once you get in some of these middle sections here. The accelerometer. If you don't care about accelerometer, you don't need to learn it. Okay, you can move on to maps. If you care about maps, you can move on to it. We teach the core principles throughout this course in these different and various apps, but they're designed in a way where you can jump around to some of these other topics here. So do follow along up until you get into the Slack app, and after that, if you're feeling like you want to learn something different that's not in this path here, you can jump around, but do make sure you take all of the sections here, because by the end of the course, you're going to learn best programming practices, and you'll be building fully functional applications that I'm super excited to teach you. So let's go ahead and get started.